Welcome to tonight's Cincinnati Sports edition of the Klown Podcast. I'm Scott Burks. Check out my partner down here, Dwayne Nash, on the yard / HBCU Sports, who raps about all things HBCU Sports. And speaking of HBCU Sports, see the Aggie Pride? I see you.
It's rivalry week.
There you go.
My God.
Yes, it is. We'll get to
normally.
Yeah, go ahead.
Normally I'm calm. I'm calm during rivalry week.
Yes, sir.
But there are a lot of people that Durham contingency is running their mouth so bad. That, they're giddy because they beat the likes of Alcorn State, a school we put 64 up on, and they barely survived Division II Winston-Salem State. And the fact that A&T is currently winless, they're happy. And they don't understand what's awaiting them when they come into Greensboro this Saturday. Oh my God, I can't wait.
And never mind the fact that our last game was just a Power 5, albeit a Duke. But that's not a here nor there. But anyway.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Also, speaking of FCS, check his great workout on herosports.com and reps about all things FCS athletics as pertains to HBCU sports. And last but not least, every Tuesday night, Facebook Live, SLZE Radio, aka Sleazy Radio, with him, Coach, and Sweet Lou. Check those brothers out as well. And as for me, you see the website, www.theclownstimes.net. You find me on Facebook as well, Acting the Fool, whether you're on desktop, laptop, mainframe, wherever you are, wherever you may be, check me out as well. And I'm that old to remember mainframes. I'm that old. So it is what it is. And floppy disks.
Hit with the mainframes
and the floppy disks. Remember those big ass floppy disks? I remember those too. I'm that old. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, before I make a bigger fool of myself, do two things. A, hit the subscribe button. Like, share, comment. If you think I'm full of shit, tell me. I'll tell you back. I'm that petty. But please, we both welcome all comments. I remember, we were talking about Jackson State in the spring, and a lot of Jackson State alum was mad at him. They were mad at him. But please bring it anyway. We enjoy the back and forth. We love it. And one last thing.
They probably like me now.
I'm sure they do. And especially with what you said about Coach Dion recently. But anyway, and last but not least, you see the merch. You see it. cafepress.com.
Go get it.
Ching, cha-ching. Cafepress.com. Search for the Clown Town Sports. The link will be in the description on YouTube when I upload this baby tomorrow, so you can find it there as well. So I mentioned Cincy Sports Podcast. You see my man to my left. You seen him during the summer talking about Cincy Sports. He's back in the saddle. My frat brother, my LB, my ace, my man, Andre Edwards is back in the house. What's up, Dre?
What's going on, fellas? How you been?
Yo, I was looking forward to this for a myriad of reasons. We're gonna get to it right now. A lot of shit's been going on. First of all, from college to both football and baseball. So we're gonna start with college because we're gonna start with the great. That's the UC Bearcats. So basically, Big 12 finally did it. They finally expanded, mainly because Oklahoma and Texas on the way out and they don't have them to block them anyway. But they finally made it the expansion that they should have made 3-4 years ago, inviting UC, BYU, UCF, and Houston. So at first, I'm going to tell you, I'm fully transparent. We talked about this off camera. I was very, very wrong about this whole thing. For starters, it wasn't I was bashing the teams that they're inviting in.
Sure.
I was just saying, if you're UC, if you're UCF, if you're Houston, why would you leave what I thought was a stable environment? They're getting paid in the middle of the year, but why would you leave a stable environment for a sinking ship? And that I thought was the Big 12, because you know what happened after Oklahoma, Texas said, we out, right? Made the announcement in the middle of the summer. I was like, well, shit, it's over. It's a wrap, right? I was like, well, shit. I mean, I figured the Pac-12, the Big Ten, maybe the ACC would pick off the carcasses. Right. And, everyone in Mama had West Virginia wanted to go to the ACC, which still I think they still may want to. I don't think the ACC.
If it's their choice, yeah.
I don't think the ACC wants them, but
Right.
that's neither here nor there. And talk this.
I mean, heck, there was even talk at that time originally when Texas and Oklahoma left of like, could the AAC actually pick up folks from the Big 12 and bring them into the AAC, right? I mean, that's how much doom and gloom there was when Texas and Oklahoma first announced.
And that's why I was like, if you're UC, the football brands, you're UC, UCF, and Houston, why would you leave? Because you're the flavor of the month as far as the conference.
Right.
I didn't realize that they were the flavor of the month individually, okay, along with BYU. So basically, the Big 12 made the move, and I didn't. And also, the reason why I was wrong, that there are two more reasons. I thought that I mentioned them. I thought that they were a sinking ship, right? And I didn't realize that two more reasons. That the grant of rights is still on through 2025.
Yes.
Still pays them north of $30 million per school, which is going to get bigger.
Yes.
Once Oklahoma, Texas splits, right?
Correct.
And which means that
there's no reason for me to go from a $30 million payout in the Big 12, even in shambles.
Yeah. To
try and go somewhere else and leave that money sitting on the table.
Right. You'd be stupid. You'd be categorically stupid.
Right.
So which means that I understand why those schools want to lead the AAC and BYU want to give it to independence, because again, $30 million is $30 million. And even after the grant of rights expires, I don't see the Big 12 getting less than $25 million.
And I mean, at this point, if you're those AAC schools, you're coming in sub 10 mil right now, right?
Correct.
So anything north of 10, you're like, we can work with it.
Yeah.
Right. give me 2, 3, 4 years of 25 to 30. And if we got to drop to 15, it's still double what I'm making today.
Double what I'm making, exactly.
Right?
Good point.
I get more exposure. I get still the opportunity to be a Power 5. So I have the automatic, entrance to the playoffs, and whatever that structure turns out to be later is what it is. But I've got at least a foot in the door that I don't have now, right? And that money talks, man. And I'm going from 7 mil right now if I'm Cincinnati in the AAC. I'm playing on Tuesdays. I'm playing on Thursdays.
Right.
That
matching schedule.
I'm on ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Yeah.
Like, you can't find me on a Saturday afternoon at noon because you don't have the right subscription. I joined the Big 12, and now I'm playing Baylor on a Saturday at 3:30 on Fox or ABC, right? That's what, to me, that's the bigger play and the bigger move. Yes, it's probably a little less stable than what the AAC is as currently constructed, but it's worth the risk. So I'll put it to you like this. I will equate it to my own life. So I was in the position that I was in. I was a director of an outpatient wound care center for almost 10 years, right? Ran it, did well, was comfortable, knew my stuff, everything's good. This summer, I got offered a position to go work for a different company in the pharmaceutical space. It was a lucrative move, monetarily speaking, to make this move. But I'm the new dude. It's not stable from a, been there 10 years. I know what I'm doing. You know what? Cool. My manager got changed around. My team got changed around. But to me, in that time, it was worth that risk to make that move, right? And now if I'm UC, I'm looking at the same thing. I'm stable in the AAC. I know the players. I know what's going on. But we got a shot over here to do something big. And if it crumbles, it crumbles. But we got a shot to do something big. And that's where I'm at now, right?
Right.
And that's why you make that move.
And that's well said, because it's funny you mentioned that about UC in particular, because Dwayne, I was reading in the Inquirer, that's our newspaper here. that
I thought you meant like the tabloid.
Well, no. That's also called the Inquirer here.
Yeah, no,
it's just called the Inquirer. It's Cincinnati Inquirer, I should say. I'll be official. This Cincinnati Inquirer, not that rag. But anyway, the point is, I think it was Paul Doherty wrote the column. He's a prominent columnist here, sports columnist here.
Okay.
He was saying that what it would do for UC's other sports programs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Andre, correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably would be wrong. I know they gave up soccer, right?
Yes.
I know they gave up the men's soccer program. They
Yep.
still have baseball.
Yes.
Do they have softball? Do y'all have softball?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, but basically my point is that there was talk in the athletic office of using that money to not only build them a brand new official standalone football center, right? Which would be even bigger for recruits. I mean, Luke Fickell's bringing recruits left and right. He's kicking ass right now.
He's killing it
with one arm behind his back as far as resources. But if you give that man a football facility in the Midwest when it gets cold, we know how it gets cold here in Cincinnati, right? And he's recruiting well right now.
Correct.
Now, if you add the membership in the conference that spans the Southwest, guess what that means too? Recruiting. Remember the R word, recruiting. So you can tell, you can go into Texas, you can go into Oklahoma and sell kids on the fact, okay, you may be balling in the Midwest, but guess what? Your mom and pops and family and them could see you still.
Yep.
Not only if they go to Oklahoma State or go visit TCU and Baylor.
And yeah.
But you get to see them on TV.
Yep.
As you mentioned earlier, Dre, that because the Big 12, I know they split between Fox and ESPN, but it's mostly a Fox property. So with Fox Sports, you also get FS1, which most people have.
Yep.
So that's still a win if you're UC. Am I missing anything there, Dre?
No, I mean,
okay.
you now increase the amount of time that, I mean, you talk about the big states, right? As far as football talent is concerned, Florida, Texas, Ohio.
Yes.
People
don't know how big of a state, football state Ohio is.
I don't know why.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But you now have the ability, so you keep your UCF, so you can keep that pipeline to Florida, but now you open up that pipeline to Texas, and not just, you had Houston before, but now you start talking Texas A&M, and you start talking Baylor, and you start these are places that TCU where you're like, yo, we're here 3 times a year, 2-3 times a year. Your parents can come see you anytime, son. Right?
Right.
So why don't you come on up to UC? You can start this year.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
And that opens up a whole new realm of possibilities where, where if they left now, again, you gotta find me on ESPN Plus and whatever to try and figure out where my kid is, and I can't really watch him, and I can't travel because I'm still working. And coach, I'd love to see him at UC, but he's probably just gonna stay here at TCU because I can see my kid. Well, now you can see your kid every Saturday, and we'll be down in Texas 3 or 4 times a year. Come on.
Yep. And that's the thing. I mean, and again, like with Dwayne now, we talked about whether it's the SEC, ACC, the Big Ten, the Power Fives, right? And it pertains to FCS athletics, SWAC, is all about another word that starts with a little B, branding.
Branding.
You got another big-ass brand in BYU coming in. So now, if you're the Big 12, you're like, we're good. I mean, again, nothing. I don't trust conference alignment to be over for more than 3 or 4 years. I mean, we're not that naive. But the point is that still, if you're the Big 12, Dwayne, you got BYU, you got that big-ass brand out west.
Yes, sir.
Coming in. You have the aforementioned football brands from the AAC, the strong ones coming in. And you still have Oklahoma State. You still have Iowa State. You still have West Virginia. By the way, how happy is West Virginia right now that they get at least have UC with them.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. As a travel partner.
You got a travel partner.
Yeah.
Not only for football, but also basketball.
Exactly.
The one thing that we're not talking about right now, because I know football brings in money, that basketball conference is going to be nasty.
Exactly,
yes,
right?
Kansas.
Men's basketball.
Yes. Kansas, Kansas, West Virginia, and UC. Now, UC traditionally is strong.
Yeah.
Y'all got a coach now. I told you, Wayne, that kid that I call him a kid, he's younger than this, but that guy, Wes Miller from UNC Greensboro.
That's right. Yeah.
He turned into a winner on a UNC Greensboro budget. Wait till he gets to a UC budget.
Right.
And a bigger conference.
Well, not just that now soon to be inflated budget because they're moving over to the Big 12.
Yeah.
Now, what I hate to do, okay, that's a lie, but I'm not today at least, right? I'm not going to sit here and be Barry Horowitz. For those of you that remember old school wrestling, Barry Horowitz, he always started his match by doing what? Patting himself on the back. I'm not going to do that today. But what I will do is remind everyone that I've been saying the sky is not falling in the Big 12. It's still, regardless, even with Oklahoma and Texas, they were still the 5th best Power 5 conference, right?
100%.
So at worst, you're still number 5.
Right.
You're still number 5. And I'm like, okay, if everyone else, and you guys have already touched on this, if everyone else realizes that, hey, we can go ahead and at least double, if not triple, what we're pulling in on the TV deal by moving up to the Big 12, why not do that? And that's exactly what I was saying. And like
again, you get your foot in to that playoff.
And you get your foot into that playoff. That's the automatic bid. Instead of you being one of the other 5 conferences, which is what, 10 teams a conference. So you got 50 teams fighting for that one at-large bid.
Yeah.
Where I could be one of 12? Come on now. DC public school math ain't the best, but I know one of 12 has a better chance than one of at least 50.
Right.
It's not 60.
Right.
So why not take that chance and move over to the Big 12? Because what? All you're saying is, well, you ain't the ACC, you ain't the SEC.
Hell, they're probably better than the ACC right now. Shit, we took it on the chin last weekend, and the Pac-12 too.
Exactly, right? So my thing is, everybody's talking about who you ain't, but you know who you still is?
Right.
You still is a Power 5, right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to alter my analogy from earlier, right? You know, you might be Reby Jackson, but you're still a Jackson. You still got to hit with Centipede. I don't care what nobody says. You still a Jackson.
Wow, that's old school. Wow.
You know, I can still go to 2100 Jackson Street the rest of the fam. You know, chill out with them.
I'm coming home.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm still a Jackson. There's nothing you can tell me because my brother is Michael. My sister is Janet. I am still a Jackson. I'm not one of you peasants out here fighting for that one spot.
Like, what's your name? Williams? Okay, yeah, you.
Okay. All right. Oh, you're a DeBarge. That's cute. What are you doing, DeBarge? You know it's only really L that does stuff. DeBarge, how dare you? So yeah,
be mad though. Sorry about that. Go ahead. I had to throw that.
But yeah, sorry about that tangent. But still, you're still one of the 5 power conferences. You're still going to get that dough. You still get that automatic bid.
Right.
You're still going to be looked at as who you are, especially with basketball season, like you said. I understand it's September and everybody only cares about football right now. Mm-hmm, but if you're like one of the 3 of us, we also understand that there are at least 10, if not 15 to 16 other sports within a particular program. And yes, I understand that football drives it with the revenue. I get that. But you can also generate other revenue when you're talking about men's basketball, which is number 2 in terms of money revenue generating. You can also get women's basketball, which is number 3.
Yep.
So if you have great programs there, and football is okay, cool. You're still doing all right. And especially if you're moving up from the AAC to the Big. Yeah, I just like, dude, why would these other unless it's really gloom and doom, just because two Bama's leave and it don't make it gloom and doom yet. Hey, you want to have a conversation about gloom and doom? Go talk to the MEAC. Yeah. Talk about gloom and doom there.
Yeah.
When you got Florida and them, Bethune-Cookman, Ante, Hampton, all leaving within a 3-year period, and now your commissioner is gone, and you don't even have a TV deal. Talk about that. That's gloom and doom. So I sit there and I look at that on a daily basis, and I hear people complaining about the Big 12. Man, if you don't get out my face,
right?
My God.
Look, I also look at it from this standpoint. Like, okay, let's say you're right, and gloom and doom is on the horizon. At minimum, gloom and doom is not here for another 4 years. That's minimum, right?
Yes.
So then you're probably going to get another at least 2 to 3 years. So now we're talking 7 years out before the sky falls.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and collect that $15 to $30 million check for the next 7 years, and then we'll figure it out.
Right. You know what? I would say this. I would say this. I kind of wish, it's probably not going to happen this way. It's not going to probably work out this way. I kind of hope and wish that, being Cincinnati resident now, again, that we will get to see them, UCF, BYU, and Houston with Oklahoma and Texas for a year or two. I would love to see that. I doubt it's going to happen.
I'd love to see at least one year.
Give me 1 year. Just give me a taste. Just give me a taste. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know how the lawyers going to work behind the scenes of both AAC and with Oklahoma and Texas leaving to the SEC. I don't know how that's going to work. I'm not that smart. I'm not that rich. But because I want to see, for selfish reasons, that's why I was mad 4 years ago when they did the Big 12, probably orchestrated by Texas behind the scenes, doing that dog and pony dance, the dog and pony show, I should say, when they had that round of expansion talk, but nothing happened. I was like, that's so fucked up, because I wanted to see, we all knew that UC was on the come up. Yep. We knew that UCF been there, done that.
Yep.
We knew that BYU has tradition. I wanted to see the ultimate what if. Shout out to Marvel's What If on Disney Plus, right? But I wanted to see the what if that would be, okay, UC's on the come up, UCF is doing the damn thing. How would they match up against Oklahoma and Texas?
Yep.
Especially Oklahoma.
And look, I was going to say, right now, Texas might take an ass whooping. So, right. Like, Texas ain't been shit for a long time. So they living on name alone, real strong, in that football program. But yeah, like just to have the opportunity. Look, people talk about, so UC goes to the playoffs and then they get smashed by Alabama. I'm like, Notre Dame gets smashed by Alabama every year.
Miami did too. Miami did this year.
Ohio State, which I'm a fringe fan of, can get smashed by Alabama, and nobody says boo, right?
Exactly, right.
Clemson can come in and get smashed by Alabama too. Like, who cares? Like, so everybody who goes up against Alabama gets smashed. I don't care. UC lost 63-7. Okay, Ohio lost 63-10.
What's the difference?
What's feel the better?
Difference, right?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. Hell, we might see 1 year of it. I mean, because it'll be costly as much challenge as the SEC has.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money for Oklahoma and Texas to give up. That's what, if you do the math, for those of you who understand how grant rights work, like basically the money that are owed, they have to pay back per season, right? So they were to bounce after this year, that leaves them with 4 more years run up, 4 more years under the current GOR, right? So you multiply 30, just round it down, 30. If you multiply 30 times 4, each school has to pay $120 million.
just to get out.
Just to get out of it.
Just to get out.
That's how great. Now, again, I think that may be 3, but even with 3, that's $90 million.
That's still $90 million.
Yeah.
I know Texas is flush with cash, but that's $90 million. I know the SEC is printing money like Fort Knox. That's $90 million.
Right.
You're gonna pay 90. If you're gonna pay a total of $180 million, close to 200 mil, just for those 2 squads early. So I
the
think
return has to be ridiculous.
Yes, which is why I think it's more likely that we'll see UC in them next year in the Big 12 than you would.
Yeah, I can see. I'd be interested to see if UC can come up with the cash to be able to get out early.
Yeah,
I can see them staying at least another year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the thing. Because look, if Oklahoma, Texas announces tomorrow that they're gonna because it's gonna be too awkward right now, right, for them to stick around. So if they announce tomorrow that they're staying in 2023 instead of 2025 when it's over, when the rivalries expires, and UC and them could get in,
I would be doing everything within my power. I'd be like, when are y'all leaving? Cool, we're gonna be there the year before. Like whatever it takes, we're gonna be there the year before.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, can you imagine? I know Texas ain't shit. I know that they're like Notre Dame. They're living on reputation alone. Yeah. Right? So could you imagine that contingent coming here to Nippert Stadium? Could you imagine even Oklahoma?
So good.
Coming to Nippert Stadium? That would be fat, man. That would be
so good.
That'd be awesome.
Yes.
Well, hell, even then, I mean, Oklahoma State is not a bad consolation prize. You still get to play West Virginia every year.
I mean, again, you get TCU, you get Baylor. Like, I mean, come on.
Iowa State's good, so you get them.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, can you imagine the amount of season ticket renewals? Hell, they probably built on more. I know it's condensed.
Look here, if I can stop watching them play East Carolina.
Yeah.
And the Pirates of East Carolina and replace them with the Horned Frogs of TCU. Yes, please. Sign me up. I'm in.
Yes. Or better yet, if you replace Tulsa with Baylor.
Yeah. Or South Florida. Or like any of the schools that just hang out at the bottom half of the AAC. Like I'm good. I don't have to play you people anymore. Thank you. I'm out. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Oh man, but yeah, this is going to be very interesting. And you know, gotta give my props to Big 12. I've been taking lumps on social media, well, youth especially from Big 12 fans rather, that I don't know shit, that you bang on the Big 12 early. Hey, I was wrong. It looks like I was wrong. The Big 12 teams, they got together and say, hey, look, even we're going to make this thing up 4 or 5 more years down the line, we're still getting paid over $30 million a year.
Yeah.
Let's keep this party train going. Let's get more people to come on board. Let's get the big brands to come on board from the group of 5. Let's make this shit happen. Let's make magic. And they're doing it.
Exactly. But don't feel bad, because it wasn't just you. It was a lot of these pundits out here that was screaming that the sky is falling in the Big 12 and everybody should go ahead and start packing up now. Go ahead and get your rations together. The zombies is coming in the Big 12. We got to evacuate. And I'm like, not so fast, my friend. But yeah, don't feel bad, dude. It wasn't just you. There was a lot of people screaming that noise. And we're starting to, well, actually, you know what? We still don't necessarily know, because everything sounds great in theory, right?
Yeah,
right.
It sounds cool.
Yep.
And it could potentially work that way. But there's still a possibility that it might not work out. But all things considered,
on paper,
it looks great.
Yes.
On paper, it looks real good. Yep. But I can't imagine a chaos scenario where it doesn't work out.
Right.
So if anyone can pitch that to me and make it make sense, then I might listen to you. But as of right now, you know, it's a possibility that anything can happen.
Sure.
Right.
You know, I might sleep with Janet Jackson. That's a possibility. Let's keep it with the Jacksons. It's a possibility. You know,
I mean,
I doubt
next
it.
thing you know, you wake up next to Reedy. Like, I don't know. Like,
Hey, well,
Hey,
but
like
you know
I said, it's a Jackson. Like you said,
it's a Jackson,
Jackson.
son. It's a Jackson. It's a Jackson. I'm like, yeah, yeah.
Hey,
But
maybe
still,
Latoya's half of her Latoya Jackson makeup will fall up, but hey, she's still a Jackson.
she's still a Jackson, son.
Still a
But yeah,
Jackson.
that's what I'm like, man. Don't worry about being wrong. There are so many other people who are louder and
wronger, right?
Yes,
Now-
louder and wronger on
Now,
television.
I forgot about your third. Like we run your mini quotes, right? She's still a Jackson. I
Yeah.
forget the other one, but the last one I wanted to bring up as it pertains to the Big 12 discussion. And you told me this. You should trademark the hell out of it. When I was talking about the skies fall in the Big 12, remember what you told me?
Let the pizza cook.
Let it cook.
Let the pizza cook. See, that comes from
Let the pizza
anxious
bake.
childhood. Let the pizza bake. That comes from young childhood anxious me. You know, as a child, man, I
Ready to
love
go.
pizza. You know, you put that little pizza in the oven. I want it now.
Yeah.
Nah, man, let that thing bake, man. That thing still might be cold in the middle. Let that
Yeah.
thing bake.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
patient. So yeah, let the pizza bake. And you know, that's what I kept preaching about the Big 12, man. And it seems like that theory just might work out. And we'll
Look
see.
here, y'all need to get on this marketing program. See, right here would be a perfect segue to those. Y'all seen those uni pizza makers?
Ah,
They
yes.
Make,
Oh,
they make
yeah.
flatbread. They make a pizza in like 90 seconds. You can be like, let the pizza bake, unless you got to own. You can get a pizza.
Now we had a sponsor. Yes.
Boom.
We were
Know what I
tied right in,
Boom.
I'm
right
gonna go ahead.
there.
That's
I'm
how
gonna
that
go
works,
ahead
son. That's how that works.
and send it out. Hey, Dre get a cut. Dre get a cut.
There you
go.
go.
There
There
you
you
go.
go. But
We need to
yeah,
monetize that. Yes. Hey, there we go.
but we're going to be talking about this during basketball season again,
Yep.
Most
because
definitely.
the Big 12 is already the strongest basketball conference. I don't care what anybody says. So you're going to have, in addition, Kansas is not going to win.
Gonna
So
be
you're going to
good.
have Kansas, West
Gonna be
Virginia.
good.
And can you imagine, Dre? I know I want to move on, but I can't help with the history, the basketball history involved. Can you imagine seeing Bob Huggins twice a year of your UC? Can you imagine that? And a new renovated basketball arena, by the way,
Yeah,
which I have not gone inside yet. I've been to
it's
the
beautiful.
old one.
It's
but
beautiful.
I heard it
God,
looks
it is-
spectacular on television.
First of all, the shoe/Fifth Third Arena. I grew up there as a kid going to basketball games.
Sure.
A little scary in that place. I'm not gonna lie to you. A little scary. This place, like, is super spacious. It's bright. It's like they got all the modernization of the screens, and I mean, it is just. It's a beautiful experience, and it's a beautiful facility, and it makes you feel like they took the time and effort and pride and made it into something that you just need to experience.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that nice, and it's especially if you go back and look at either old pictures or old games or old clips of what the shoe used to be compared to now. It's night and day, man. It's night and day.
That's what I heard. I need to get. I've been. If it weren't for this damn demic, that's why I call it a pandemic. If it
Yeah.
weren't for this damn demic,
I know, right?
shout out to my one of my in-laws who coined that the phrase. I would have been going to games already because I wanted to check it out badly. I wanted to check out the renovated Nipper Stadium. I mean, it's been renovated the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I saw it when it was under construction. I was like, it's going to be fabulous, and it looks
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah, Nipper's nice.
So again, all of that with one, they were able to finance all of that with one arm tied behind their backs. Now the pocketbook's going to be open.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because the bank is going to dump more money.
Yeah.
So basically, again, if you're Luke Fickell, if you're Wes Miller, the head football and basketball coach respectively,
Mm-hmm.
can you imagine you sitting there like Mr. Monty Burns in The Simpsons like this? Excellent. Or he does this excellent. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it's gonna be bananas at UC the next few years, and good for them because they worked their way up. They fixed up the stadium, the football stadium. They renovated basketball arena. The baseball stadium finally got Marsh Shart's name off of it. It looks nicer, And maybe
And you found a coach who actually wants to stay and build your program, right?
Yes.
I think part of what held other facilities back from having UC come on is you kept a coach 2 or 3 years, and then they would jump to a bigger program. And Luke has been offered multiple positions to jump to bigger programs, including just last summer for Michigan State.
Michigan
right?
State, yeah.
I mean, that's a giant program. That is nothing to sneeze at, right? And he was like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and stay here. And to me, once you drop that nugget of joining a Power 5 conference, now if I'm Luke, I'm turning down everything with the exception of Ohio State.
Yeah, that's home for him.
Maybe a Notre Dame. Some I'm talking like iconic institutions that unless you already work there, nobody is turning down, right?
Right.
So it just eliminates because before it was I can't get to where I want to be because of the conference that I'm in. Now I'm in a conference that I can accomplish everything that I want to accomplish right here. I don't have to go anywhere. Like I don't have to go and take a job at, Iowa or Indiana or, some other smaller Mississippi State or, some other smaller Power 5 school that I'll be here for 3 years. They'll pay me a lot of money. I'll be fired and then I'll be an offensive coordinator at Akron in 4 years. Like I don't have to do that, right? I can accomplish everything that I want to accomplish here in Cincinnati because of we now have a shot from a Power 5 perspective. And again, that just opens me up down the line for, do I want to go to the NFL or do I want an all-time iconic Ohio State, Notre Dame, type of gig? So it's a win-win for everybody as far as UC's program is concerned.
Exactly. Speaking of Notre Dame, you guys passed one test in Indiana. It was an ugly start to the game.
Yep.
And, I still think Indiana's a good team. I know they're off to a rough start. They were damn good last year. But to win you won at a Big Ten school.
Yep.
There's not a bottom feed. There's not going to be a bottom feed, in my opinion, on the road, in a hostile environment. So you passed test number one.
And think about this, just to add to that, it's the first time in over a year that we played in front of hostile fans being in the stadium.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's the first test in over a year that we've had to be able to go out and go on the road against a Big Ten school, and where from a program standpoint, they're much bigger than we are. Right. From a stadium standpoint, holy crap, we have 60,000, 80,000 fans just like, holy crap, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's the first time we've had to deal with that in over a year.
Yep. And you passed that one test. But we all know coming through the season, we saw the schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Comes down to 2 games.
2 games.
You won one of them.
Yep.
The next one is in 2 weeks. Notre Dame in South Bend. So how you feeling? How are you feeling about taking on Notre Dame?
I feel really, really good because I feel like we're playing with house money, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody really gives us a legitimate shot to make it to the Final Four. Not really. Like they'll find some way because I'm gonna tell you, if Notre Dame either loses to or just barely beats Wisconsin, they'll fall in the poll. If they lose, I think they're like 12 right now. If they lose, they'll damn near fall out of the top 25 just so that if UC beats them, UC won't move because they only beat a number 23 Notre Dame. You know what I mean? Like I promise you, that's what's going to happen. If it's close, Notre Dame will fall to like 15, UC 8, and it just won't be that big of a win. Right. What I need to have happen is I need Notre Dame to go in and just beat the donkey crap out of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And come in and be like number 10 in the nation versus us at 8, and we go in and handle business. Like that's
Half game
That's
they come to
only-
South Bend. Half game they go to South Bend.
Correct. And that's the
Yeah.
only way you're going to do it. With
Yeah.
that being said, again, I feel like we're playing with house money.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And furthermore, if even after this week against Wisconsin, if you're UC at the end, you're going to want Notre Dame to win 10 games at least.
Yes, 100%.
Because
that's what we're hanging our hat on as
Yeah.
the reason why we should be in, right? Like,
Yeah.
y'all quick to throw, not y'all, but y'all quick to throw Notre Dame in just about anything, right?
Exactly, right.
Until it's inconvenient.
Mhm.
And right now, Notre Dame winning this Wisconsin game and winning it big is inconvenient for the committee. Because if UC then goes in and beats Notre Dame, how you gonna tell me we don't deserve to move up into that, 4, 5, 6 range where we got a legit shot that somebody 1 through 5 loses a game and we run the table? Come on, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it should have happened last year. I mean, COVID breaked everybody's season, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that you guys had, 2-3 games canceled because of COVID, and the final poll, and I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but it's still pissing me off. And I'm a Florida State football fan. I have enough problems. But the point is that if you were, to see, look, but wrong is wrong in the end. If you see UC, if you will, fall below the likes of Iowa State at the end, 2 losses, the same Iowa State, again, Iowa State's good, right? I'm glad they will be conference mates in the next couple years or so. But not only did Iowa State, okay, they lost Oklahoma, there's no shame in that, right? But remember what happened to game 1? They got that asses kicked by Louisiana.
Yeah.
Smoked.
The same Louisiana team that beat App State, another good team, but somehow got ranked. Louisiana finished the regular season ranked in the 20s in college football playoff poll, while Iowa State moved up to damn near 7?
Yeah.
It was something insane.
How the fuck is that? UC was 6 or 8 or something like that. They're below Georgia.
Yeah, 8.
So that's stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's again, man, that it goes back to what the whole premise of where we started this conversation of how good it would be for UC to move to the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because you had no excuses then.
Because then bullshit like this doesn't happen.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The committee feels more comfortable with acknowledging the accomplishments of a team like UC because they're a Power 5 school.
Right.
Okay, fine. But you beat Indiana by 14 on the road. You have the opportunity to go in and beat Notre Dame on the road, who is anywhere from a top 10 to a top 20 program this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't tell me we don't have the opportunity and we shouldn't be given the opportunity because, again, like I said, because we're going to get waxed by Alabama. So, because y'all can't match up with, Clemson. Clemson's terrible this year. Like,
the ACC is terrible this year, but go ahead.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, give us the opportunity. Give us the shot. Let's go.
Yeah. So one last bit before we move on to the NFL. We mentioned the playoffs, right? Before the SEC made its gangster move and getting Oklahoma and Texas to come on down, there was talk that a 12-team expanded playoff was going to be imminent. It would have been imminent if it wasn't for the news of the expansion coming down the pipe. I still think it could happen. I think you may be 8 instead of 12 now. I think what's going to happen is that this alliance with the Pac-12, Big Ten, and the ACC is going to say, nah. They're going to just flex the muscle just because they don't want this. They have their shine, and it's going to be expanded, but I think it's going to be realistically 8 in the end, which still, and in that scenario, would be the top 5 conference champions, not just Power 5, top 5 conference champions. So technically, it would be possible for, I guess now the Mountain West in this scenario now, the Mountain West or the maybe the Sun Belt. Sun Belt's decent, but the point is that it's going to be much harder for them now because the group of 5 rep could have been UC or UCF or
Right.
BYU, but they're going to be Pac-12 members. So
Yeah.
it's going to be like a more monopoly. But the point is, there's still going to be it's still going to be access. And I guess Notre Dame will have just a little bit more access.
They always do.
Yeah. So basically, either way, I guess in the end, either way, UC and them are going to be just fine because they're going to be amongst the top 5 conference champs.
Yep.
Right. Most years. And, you know, they don't have to worry about at-larges. They don't have to worry about any of that bullshit. If you take care of business in your
conference,
in your new Power 5 conference, you're good.
Yep.
But no,
you get better bowl payouts too. So
yeah, but let's be real. The chances of a group of 5 conference, and again, we're being realistic here. Come on now, we gotta keep it real.
Right.
Group of 5 moving ahead to Pac-12, because we know that 5th team is either going to be Pac-12 or Big 12, right?
Right.
The chances of that happening are slim.
Right.
Very slim. So if it's going to be the top 5, it's going to be Power 5. It is.
Yeah.
You know, because the committee is going to keep it that way.
Absolutely.
If it was a 12-team playoff, it would have been top 6. But yeah, I think that's why I said it's going to be 8 in the end. Go ahead, sorry about that.
But that's fine. That's fine. And that's why I would prefer it to be 12. I understand there are a lot of people out there that are afraid of who are conspiracy theorists and are afraid that the SEC will somehow get 3 teams in there. But you know what you need to do? Do your damn job.
Right.
You play well. That don't happen.
Recruit better, and coach better.
Yes, recruit better, coach better, play better. That don't happen.
Right.
And you know, you go ahead and you get capable of knocking them out the box. It just is what it is. And then, of course, there are a lot of people who are afraid that this will really happen now that Texas and Oklahoma comes in. And I still say what I said before. No, it's just going to be like my old dorm back in the day. Once lights go out, everybody just end up knocking each other out. And then you probably get a couple of dudes in there. The 2 best end up advancing, with the 3rd straggling in because they end up getting the votes. And then that's, of course, going to be a committee issue. But we already know how the committee do.
We already got committee issues.
Right.
Yeah, we already had committee issues before. We're going to continue to have them unless the committee is no longer involved. But at the same time, you're going to want that committee involved so we can go ahead and get those at large. Well, I mean, if we're going to have at large, we're going to have a committee.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there you go. So transition from college football to pro football. There's a game this weekend that normally people around here get excited about because they hate the team so damn. I mean, when I was growing up, man, I grew up on the East Coast, as y'all know, right? So assuming when I moved here for the very first time in fall of 99, I figured, well, I mean, I was happy to go to the NFL city, right? And I was like, well, shit, I figured Cincinnati and Cleveland, that's a big deal, right? Well, that's until you live here long enough. You figure out 1 or 2 things. Number 1, Cincinnati and Cleveland is more like a hype thing, right? Because they're both Ohio cities. And number 2, the team that really hate is the one in black and gold, which that's what the Cincinnati and Cleveland have in common. They both hate Pittsburgh.
Yes, correct.
So I did not know that. I'm assuming that it was like anti-Cleveland here, which there still is, but
like, so
go ahead.
So to an extent, it's anti-Cleveland. And that sentiment has only grown really since Baker Mayfield has come into his era. But in Cincinnati, it's almost like, oh, Cleveland. Right? Like, you didn't feel any threat from Cleveland, the Browns, or
in the 80s, though, when both of y'all were good in the 80s.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's 40 years ago.
Can't believe the 80s was 40 years ago.
Like,
I know when you say it like that, I'm like, my God. At first, I wanted to ball up my fist, and then Matt kicked in and was like, no, he right, it is.
So,
God.
I mean, cool. Yes, back then, yes, you are right. But then, since Cleveland came back in '99, like, oh,
yeah,
you're cute. Get out of here, you crazy kids. Oh, you're so right. I mean, there was nothing to hate.
Yeah.
Because there was never to have a rivalry. You and I have talked about this, Scott. To have a rivalry, you really need both teams to be good and one team to win, then another team to win, and another team to like, you know what I mean? That there has to be this back and forth that says this is a rivalry.
Yeah.
When one team wins, 14 straight and 17 of the last 19 games, that's not a rivalry anymore. That's just
say it again, Dre. I want you to say that again. No, say that again. You know what, Scott? I need you to take this clip.
Yeah.
Take this clip and have Dre say that again, because there are a lot of people here in the DC area. When I tell them this, they say, "What the hell are you talking about?" Yo, Washington and Dallas ain't no rivalry no more.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
Neither team has had anything to play for over the past 30 years. They haven't. You know what else? And this is coming from a Washington fan. Dallas has basically ruled the series for the past.
My dad would tell you that.
years.
God rest his soul. He was a big Washington fan. And he'd say every year, he remembers that year when y'all went 14-2, won the Super Bowl. One of the two teams y'all lost to.
One of those losses was Dallas.
Both of them. Well, Dallas. Because Dallas and that 15-1 season, actually it was 15-1, I'm sorry. 15-1 season, that one loss, Dallas.
Yeah.
At home. I remember that. I watched it. So,
right.
it makes my dad mad. It would make him mad every time he said the damn blue star on television, because he has flashbacks.
Yeah.
To those comeback wins in the 70s and 80s that Dallas had against y'all. He just like, they own. He will always say they own us.
Yeah. And at that point in time, it was a rivalry, right?
Yeah.
But the amount of division championships both teams have won in the past 30 years, sparse. Neither team has been extremely competitive outside of the division during that time frame. Another sparsity. It's been a one-sided situation. The only thing that makes it a rivalry is because of the amount of Dallas fans that live here that like to run their mouth.
Yeah.
And then because of that anger is still there, because you ain't got a Bama over here to shut the hell up talking about his team,
and it's
who the last time they won the Super Bowl.
Very similar.
Exactly.
It is.
Pittsburgh.
It is.
Exactly, right?
Pittsburgh comes in here, their fans, and this is no offense to Scott, because Scott and I talk all the time. But like the Pittsburgh fans come and they just run their mouths non-stop.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. That is a true statement. That's a very true statement.
Us at our 6 rings. First of all, 4 of those rings were before most of you Bama's were alive.
Exactly, right?
Okay, let me be very clear about that. Like the Terry Bradshaw dude that sits on a stage terrible, like he's about to die. That's who won those 4 rings. Okay, let me be very clear about that.
Oh my God, Drake! The amount of little kids that live here that are Cowboy fans is laughable to me. I'm like, yo, you've seen nothing but mediocrity.
Yes,
in your entire lifetime.
Correct.
If you are under 30 and if you are under 30 and you live in the DC area and you're a Cowboy fan, you have seen nothing but mediocrity your entire life, and you have nothing to say to a Washington football fan who, yes, has also seen that same mediocrity. So we're sitting here arguing about who's more mediocre. If you don't get out of my face, that's why when I say that to these Bamas, they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, no, this is not 86 no more. This is not 87. The rivalry is not the same. They have been dominating us on a regular basis. I don't even get up for the game no more, because it's like, okay, no, I take that back. I do get up a little bit. I still do. It was great to sweep them last year. Don't get me wrong. Especially that Thanksgiving game. Delicious. Because it was so quiet in the city on Friday. You didn't hear nobody say nothing. My God. Let's be realistic. If you look at the matchups over the past 30 years, it has been completely lopsided. And when you beat us, it's not like it's on the road to a Super Bowl or anything, or even to the playoffs.
Right.
No, it means absolutely nothing other than the fact that you beat us. So what? No one's getting anything from it. It only makes more sense, like when I saw Baltimore, Pittsburgh, when they were going through it. Seattle and San Fran, when they go through it, and now with the Rams and potentially Arizona, that's a situation. those are rivalries to me.
Yeah.
Even though Green Bay and Chicago, and at least Chicago is looking to beat Green Bay so they can win a division because Green Bay's winning the division. Dallas ain't even ruling the division. That's why it ain't no rivalry. I'm like, I need y'all to stop. But I'm sorry to
No, that's okay. I laugh every time we talk rivalries. I know it brings that side out of you. You deal with that shit every single year.
Yes,
and go ahead.
Because I'm like, I see real rivalries. I see what they do.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't it no more.
And I got another wrinkle, and I think, Dre, you about to allude to it. When Pittsburgh comes here, they don't have to come here. There are a lot of Steelers fans that live here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what's real messed up? If you go to almost any sports shop here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee
Yep.
you're going to see as many Pittsburgh jerseys.
Yep.
And now a lot more Cleveland jerseys as you would Bengals jerseys.
So annoying.
That's one of the most fucked up things I've seen.
So annoying
In my life. I shit you not. Again, I've lived in Washington, D.C. for 3 years. I saw it with a lot of Dallas. There's a lot of Dallas gear there. That made me upset. That offended me as a Dallas hater and everything else. Growing up in North Carolina, when the Panthers came along, you still had, and I understand why a lot of Washington jerseys, because that was Washington territory.
That's what you had.
Yeah,
that's what we had for years and years and years and years. But you also some had the nerve to bring in some Atlanta jerseys that really made people upset.
Yeah, that was just straight, just to make people upset.
Yeah, that was just to troll people.
Oh yeah, but I've always wondered. I was like, dude, is there another city in America that this happens in terms of another fan base infiltrating the city? Now I know it is Cincinnati. Yes. It is Cincinnati. So that's why when I've said it before on this show when Trey was here, it's almost like we're sister cities. There's a lot of stuff that happens in Cincinnati that happens in DC too. And it's comical. That's why whenever you say stuff, I giggle to myself. It's the exact same thing that's happening here.
So ridiculous.
Oh my God. Dude, it's like I found a twin I didn't realize existed. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. There's no way in the world you could have told me this a couple of years ago and I would have believed you. Now I know Cincinnati is a twin city of Washington.
We have a very robust Cincinnati chapter of the A&T alumni chapter here.
Okay.
It's pretty robust. So one of these days, if we would have a grand event here, I shit you not, you need to come here, A, for us to hang out, and B,
of course,
B, I would take you to a lot of, just on the east, I live on the east side of town, just on the east side of town alone, I would take you to sporting goods stores. You're going to sit there and just shake your head. You're going to see as many black and gold jerseys. And
dude, there are
slightly more
bars,
go ahead.
multiple bars in the city of Cincinnati that on Sunday are dedicated to Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
Yeah.
I'm
like, including one on Short Vine, but it's not that far from where I live.
Just dedicated to Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Yeah. What? It's a Pittsburgh. No. What?
Dre?
You jackasses?
Dre, I got you one better.
I love this rivalry talk. Yeah.
I got you one better. There is a restaurant. I'm not going to name this national chain on here until they go ahead and cut us a check or send me some wings. But there's a national chain that is legit within eyeshot of FedEx Field. I mean, legit. You can walk outside of the restaurant, look over to the east, and you can see the stadium. That is a Cowboys restaurant. It is a Cowboys.
That's disrespectful.
Restaurant.
That's disrespectful right there. That's
like
disrespectful.
If you go down the right road while leaving that restaurant, you'll run into FedEx traffic. That's how close it is to FedEx Field. It is a Cowboys restaurant. I legit went one time. Well, I used to go because because of how close it was to my house. But the service is not 100%. But I went one time when the Cowboys were having a game. Matter of fact, it was a couple of years ago when they were on the playoff run. They needed to beat Washington that day, and they needed the Giants to beat Philly. but Philly won and they won a division. Oh my God, to see the Cowboy fans in there celebrating every time they would score, and then to see me stand up in the chair and celebrate every time Philly would score, and to get that side of the restaurant boosted every time to shut them up and be like, hey, y'all winning. All that does is improve our draft stock, which got us Chase Young. Thank you so much. And then it kept you out of the playoffs anyway for winning the game. So yes, it improved your record on the ledger, but you just came home and watched the playoffs with us. But yeah, oh my God. Yeah, to talk about the amount of the restaurants and bars in the area that are dedicated to Cowboys. Now I get like other teams because we're such a transient city.
Sure.
I've seen Viking Stadium restaurants. I've seen Packers. I've seen Browns. There's a Browns restaurant here. So yeah, there's so many restaurants that cater to certain teams in the area. I get it, but my God, the amount of Cowboy restaurants that are here is insane, and it just irks me. But it is what it is. I get it.
Yeah, and we get it here. So
yeah.
Having said all of that, Sunday at 1:00.
Yeah.
My team is a walking mash unit. Big Ben can't throw the ball. Big Ben is now Large Benjamin. We're not calling him Big Ben anymore. He's Large Benjamin. He can't throw the ball 10 yards down the field without his elbow screaming at him. He has, I guess, a torn pec muscle. So he may not play.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I don't believe it. So I'll say this, man. Your Bengals.
Wait, you ever seen the movie Anchorman?
Yes, I have.
There's one of my favorite gifts from that movie, because I use it all the time, is he sits back, he's sitting at the anchor desk, and he grabs a cigarette, lights it, and he's like, I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. That's my one. That's my one.
That's my one gift from Anchorman that I do all the time. As soon as you're like, he's got a torn pec and he might not play, and and his vagina hurts, and you know what? I don't believe you.
Well, having said that, with the performance y'all had against Chicago last week, where we all know that kid Joe Burrow threw 3 straight picks. One of them wasn't his fault. No, well, actually, the last one, I think he got crushed.
Yeah.
He threw the ball.
Yeah.
Which leads to the offensive line issues once again. But that's neither here nor there. But the point is, do you think y'all got that? You guys are talented on the skill positions.
Yeah.
Y'all got the skill positions.
Yeah.
Y'all just need to get tough in the trenches. So going up with said all that and also TJ Watt may not even play this week because of a groin. So that takes away the pass rush. So how good you're like, I don't know. So how you feeling going to Pittsburgh?
I've seen the story way too many times, bro. I was at the playoff game. I was there. I was in the stadium.
Which one? There were 2 of them.
The one and only playoff game that matters of recent note.
Oh, right. Okay.
We're winning the game. I'm jumping up and down, yelling and screaming. Oh my God, we finally did it. Thank you, God. Oh, wait a minute. Is that Ben Roethlisberger who just came back on the is that number 7?
Well, before that was a fumble, but go ahead. Yeah.
Wait, but his arm hurts, so he can't really throw the ball. Oh, there's a 10-yard completion. Oh, there's a 5. Oh, there's a pen. Oh, they want to get
But I understand your trepidation, but oh my God, yeah,
I've been here too many times. I've been here too many times.
And my quick,
until it changes, why would I say anything different?
I think I told y'all the story. I'll tell the listeners because we did this over the phone right before I told the story. But that same game, we were in DC at the time. We were back here for Christmas, right? So, very long story short, we were at my sister-in-law's and the husband's house, right? My wife's younger sister, Robin. So we were at their house. We're in the front room. Robin she's overjoyed. I mean, her husband is from DC, so he's like sitting there taking it in. So She's overjoyed. Of course, my wife, we went to high school with Dre. She doesn't give a damn either way. She's just wanting to see me suffer. So
Yeah.
we're at the house. Robin is all gusto. She's all excited. She's normally mild-mannered, but she's pumped. She's hyped. After that interception by your boy Bartez, perfect. It started before Ben Roethlisberger came back in the game. It happened when y'all had the ball.
Jeremy Hill fumbled.
When Jeremy Hill fumbled the ball. I shit you not. My sister-in-law, Robin, God bless her. She got up, walked away, didn't say a word. Got up and walked away. Went into the dinner area, did not say a word. I didn't follow her. I didn't make the mistake of following her and talking trash. I let her go because especially if a black woman leaves the room quietly,
let them be.
Let them be. Leave them alone. So anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, why is she leaving? Because I didn't think we win, right?
Right, because nobody was expecting number 7 to walk back on the field.
Yeah.
But like, just shut down the court. Like, that dude is terrible.
Yeah. So they shut the backup down.
Yeah.
Brought back Ben Roethlisberger in of one arm back in the game. And I'm like, well, I mean, this is why this is gonna be mercy kill. Why did they let him back in? And I saw why. 10-yard completion, 5-yard completion.
I'm gonna tell y'all this right now.
And then the penalty.
To this day,
yeah,
I never saw the Bengals lose that game. Because much like your sister-in-law, after they got the back-to-back penalties, like they threw the flag on Adam Jones for hitting Antonio Brown, which changed that man's whole entire life. But
he said he winked at him. By the way, he said he winked at him from the ground. He faked it. But go ahead.
But they threw the flag. I got up from my seat and I walked to my car. Like, as I'm leaving the stadium, I could hear the cheers. Now, first of all, Dwayne, this is how many Pittsburgh fans were in the stadium that day. I could hear the cheers of the made field goal. To this day, I have never seen that field goal attempted, nor watched the Bengals lose that game, because I left.
And add on to that, Dwayne, right quick. We could talk about this for hours. But anyway, add to that, what happened in 2005, when I think that was Cincinnati's best team. That's including the 80s. They had great teams in the 80s. I think this team, that particular team, with Chad Johnson, Carson Palmer, TJ Houshmandzadeh, Rudy Johnson, all in their primes.
Mm-hmm.
With y'all finished 12-4?
12-4, I think it was.
Yeah, we came in 11-5 as the 6th seed. That was y'all's best team.
Yep.
That was y'all's best team by far. And
Chris,
the way
the key to that team was Chris Henry.
Yeah.
Chris Henry did not get enough props for what he brought to that team.
Yeah,
like that dude was somebody that no one knew how to cover. Right?
Yeah.
Like Ocho did his thing. Houshmandzadeh was your I need a grab on 3rd and 4. I'ma just throw it and you gonna catch it, and that's just what we're gonna do. But from who can match up with Chris Henry's size, speed, catch radius, like there was just no one as great as Baltimore's defenses were at that time. Carson and that squad would light them on fire.
Oh, y'all own Baltimore. Y'all still do.
Just
y'all could beat Baltimore.
Them on fire because Chris, you just had no answer for him. And I mean, even in that 2005 game where Carson goes down, he went down on like a 40-some-odd yard pass to Chris Henry.
That part.
And they both got hurt on the same damn play.
Yeah.
But like no one could cover Chris Henry.
Bruh, I remember watching on TV in North Carolina. And I could hear the audible groans. It went for I saw you the camera pan to Carson Palmer on the ground.
Oh, you want to talk like so? In my house, we were watching it, and we had a bunch of people over. You know, to your point, like that was probably one of our best teams ever.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was ever going to be a year we take out Pittsburgh, this was going to be the one. And I felt even more confident about that one than the one that I felt, just a few years ago, because we were playing with a backup quarterback and I didn't really know if AJ McCarron was going to be able to do it or not. But I felt legit at that time. Carson was, you think back to 2005, it was Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Carson Palmer, Tom Brady. He was in that conversation of top 3 to 5 quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go. Plus, you got all these weapons. Defense was opportunistic. Let's make this happen.
Yeah.
And to watch that play, I think it was the second play of the people. I think people misremember. I think it's the first play of the game, but I think it's the second play of the game.
Yeah.
Carson drops back and throws it deep, and we're watching on TV, and Chris Henry catches it, and we're all just like, here we go. This is what we came here for. Just high-fiving, slapping hands, whatever. And my brother was watching it, and he was like, wait. And I turned around, and the camera pans back, and Carson's still on the ground, and it was like, wait, what? Wait, what? Oh, shit. Come on, Carson, get up. Get up, Carson. Carson, get up. And then the cart came out, and it was like,
yeah.
And then Chris Henry would end up suffering that injury on the field.
He was hurt on that play too.
Yeah, but
PCL.
Doesn't he get another injury off the field a year or two later? It was a truck injury, if memory serves me correctly.
He passed from that.
That's right. He did die from that. That's right.
Yeah. He got into it with some argument with his chick and fell off the back of the truck. And that's how he passed. Yeah.
So I say all that to say this, man. I remember bringing back to the recent playoff matchup. I didn't know, you take the appreciation. I know we spent time on this, but to take the appreciation former players, how they still feel about their rivals. You hear Shannon Sharp on Undisputed, him and Mark Schlereth say how much they still hate the Raiders.
Yeah.
To this day. And to quote Mark Schlereth, he hates them with the strength of 1,000 suns. That's his quote. To hear him and Shannon Sharp talk despairingly about the Raiders to this day. That reminded me of what happened with Boomer Esiason after that game. How I never seen him pissed on the air like that. And he even said as much against Pittsburgh many times, but not like that. He was he was about to fight Bill Cowher. I legit thought he was going to get up and pimp slap Bill Cowher. That's how mad he was. That's how mad he was. So, and Carson Palmer to this day, and Chad Johnson, they both hate Pittsburgh to this day.
Yeah.
Husham Mazada really hates Pittsburgh to this day. He talks about when he still has that terrible towel. He still has that terrible towel when he's shining his shoes. So I love rivalry games. Even if our teams aren't where we want them to be, there's nothing like a rivalry game.
It's rivalry. So if we're going to use the term rivalry, it's rivalry from the hatred of fan bases.
Yeah.
Right? It's rivalry from tradition and history of the two teams getting together in the matchups. And so I won't strip it of the term rivalry completely, but it's not a rivalry from a on the field competition type of thing. It just isn't, because I mean, you look at Roethlisberger. I don't know the exact number, but I want to say he's something along the lines of 27-8 versus the Bengals in his career. That's not a rivalry, dude. You don't have a shot.
That's against Cleveland.
It's
not against Cleveland.
It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not a rivalry. You're just gonna get your ass kicked.
Yeah. But I would say this. I remember Monday nights last year.
Ryan Finley.
When y'all
the
eternally iconic Ryan Finley.
Hey, you put some respect on his name, all right? You hear me?
But that knockout blow, but when that hit on Juju Man,
Von,
that's
Von
why I
Bell,
knew
hey, Von
y'all
Bell,
like
Von Bell
fuck
might
them
get a
guys.
statue.
Y'all like fuck them guys. We this Monday night in our house, we're gonna fuck y'all up. That's when
Look
I
here.
knew.
Von Bell has been here a grand total of a year and 2 games. That man might get a statue. I'll say that right now. For that one hit on Juju, he might get a statue outside of Paul Brown Stadium. Just tell you.
And the energy in that stadium that night.
It was electric.
Yeah, even though it was sparse crowd, but you see still,
dude, it was electric.
You could feel the hype, and y'all whooped their asses. Y'all just whooped their asses, man.
I just sat in disbelief most of the game, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Right, like at some point in time, this is all just like it was like 17-0 at some point, and I just remember looking at my wife, and I was like, "Is this real?" I didn't know how to feel about it because at some point in time, Pittsburgh's going to run off like 21 straight points and all will be normal in the world, right? Mm-hmm. But that never happened. Like the Bengals just kicked their teeth in. And I was like, what is happening? I don't know what to do with this feeling.
You don't know what to do.
Dre, again,
play the lottery.
Cities, the same way I felt when Washington went into Heinz Field last year and did what they did. I just kept thinking, at what point is this going to break down? Alex Smith goes down. I said, uh-oh, here it comes.
Here it comes.
Yeah. And Dwayne was able to hold on. I said, hey, wait a minute. What? Wait, what? Is this? I guess this is real. Let me go ahead and take this. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So either way, it should be entertaining.
Yes.
As it always is. And one last bit, people remember how good Cincinnati was in the 80s, right? They went to 2 Super Bowls against San Francisco. Should have won the last one. But anyway, people don't realize how good they were in the 70s.
Yeah. If it weren't for Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Thank you. There was one year where I think it was 74 or 75 when you guys finished. I'm going off of memory, so please forgive me in advance. You guys finished 11-3. Houston finished 10-4. Now 11-3 back in 14-game season. Normally that was good enough to win division, except one thing: the team that won it went 12-2.
Yep.
And guess what? 2 of your 3 losses were? Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So the thing is that people don't remember the early 70s, the mid 70s. The Bengals were very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the 80s, they went to the stratosphere.
Yes.
But the pinnacle of the stratosphere. But they don't realize how great the team was, good the team was in the 70s as well. But so basically, I'll say all that to say this: there's a lot of history. Yeah. There's in the team right up the Ohio River. Separates only a 4.5 hour drive.
Yep.
It's a lot of history, and the people here, the great city of Cincinnati, take it very seriously.
Yes.
So it's going to be entertaining out of the way. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm just like, right, with all the injuries, I'm just don't know what to think, but it's going to be entertaining out of the way. So that's why I love rivalry games. That's why I love being an NFL city.
Look, I'll say this. I'll say this.
Mm-hmm.
If the Bengals play like they did week 1 versus Minnesota, they should win this game.
Mm-hmm.
They are more talented, especially offensively.
Yes.
Than Pittsburgh.
That's very true. That's a true statement. Yes.
Right. And while their defense isn't as good as Pittsburgh's, it is offset by how much better the offense is or should be than Pittsburgh's offense.
Mm-hmm.
So if Cincinnati's defense can play up to snuff, they should be able to hold Pittsburgh's offense in check. It'll be about how many plays can that Bengals offense make versus that Pittsburgh defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if Cincinnati can play like they did week 1, which is run and be successful running Joe Mixon, I think he ran for like 4.5, 4.6 yards, 4.4 yards a pop week 1. for like 100. I think he ran for like 120 some odd yards. I think he had like 100 and over 150 total yards on like 30 touches, 29, 28 touches, somewhere in there. You get that going and you test that secondary, you know, the boundary corners, stay away from Minka Fitzpatrick, but you test those boundary corners with a T. Higgins, with a Jamar Chase. Like, you should be able to put up points enough to beat Pittsburgh this weekend.
And you didn't mention Tyler Boyd, I don't think.
So, well, only reason why I didn't mention him is because he'll probably be going over the middle, and that's where Minka Fitzpatrick lives. And so,
yeah, okay, got you. I got you.
Outside of that, I mean, like, again, legitimately speaking, most of the time I'd be like, nah, Pittsburgh's winning this game, and it's not even going to be close. The Bengals should win this game on Sunday. They really
so how many points you think they need to score in order to win, Dre?
So, because I don't believe in Pittsburgh's offense, I believe they could score 20 points and win this game.
That's fair.
I mean, I seriously.
We don't have an offensive line. Their offensive line can't block us.
Yes. So because the Bengals invested a lot of money in the defensive side of the ball this offseason. And I'm talking a lot. They have the 7th highest paid defensive line in football. DJ Reader, Larry Ogunjobi, they traded for a cat named BJ Hill. They signed Trey Hendrickson. They just gave an extension to my man from Ohio State, whose name Sam Hubbard. Like, they got a lot of money tied into that defensive line, and they've been exceedingly productive the first 2 games. They have been absolutely terrorizing quarterbacks the first 2 games. So if they can keep that piece of it up, again, I'm not scared of Pittsburgh's offense. That defense is legit. I'm not scared of that offense. So if we can put up 20 points, I think you can walk away from this game 20-16. I really do. 2013, 2016, somewhere in there. I just don't see Pittsburgh going off for 24 points. I just don't see it.
Right. I agree. Because like I said before, the offensive line is truly offensive. And it can't block the 3 of us. So
it's because I got a main spin move, though. My spin move is ridiculous.
Run them stunts, right? Run those stunts.
That tackle in twist will get them every time.
We'll close the show on this, bro. We touched football. This is a baseball town, so let's talk about baseball.
Brutal.
Remember when there was a time where you guys wanted the Reds were on a run?
Nope.
And not to the point where you passed the front running San Diego Padres for the last walk swap, because let's face it, no one's catching the Dodgers. Dodgers are out of this world.
Yeah.
And their problem is they're with the same division, the Giants, who are also out of this world.
Right.
But those are 2 best teams in the league in the same division, the arch rivals at that. But the point is that you guys want to run to the point where you not only did you pass San Diego at the time, you were creating distance. And then late August hit. Then this team another team y'all hate. I call Team Cockroach, the St. Louis Cardinals, because you can't kill them. You can't kill those guys. They on the run. They won 10 straight. I don't know if they won it now, but they've won 10 straight.
Ridiculous.
And they're in the driver's seat for the last wild card spot. And they just gave your manager a 2-year extension.
Yeah, we did.
So what are your thoughts on that? Because I know there's layers to that, and it's pretty nuanced.
So
from a player and ownership standpoint. But
so first and foremost, they lost. The Reds lost 8 straight series. I don't even know how that's possible. Like, I don't even know. 8 straight series, not 8 straight games. 8 straight series. Like, really? You're in the middle of a playoff push, and you've lost 8 straight series. Not only have you lost 8 straight series, some of those series are against the absolute worst teams in baseball. We're talking Pittsburgh Pirates, who are currently fielding a AAA+ team.
Go AAA plus.
right? I'm not kidding. They are terrible.
You see their roster, yeah.
But we can't beat them. And I don't understand why. With that being said, let me touch on the manager real quick. He got a 2-year extension. One, if there is my philosophy in general on baseball and baseball managers is if there is one coach that seems to matter the least in all of sports, it is the baseball manager.
Baseball manager, yeah.
They make a handful of calls on when to pull out a pitcher or when to do a pinch hitter, but like in the grand scheme of things, they're not really doing a damn thing. Not really. And so does it make that big? Is there such a giant difference between the best baseball manager that there is in the league and the 15th best manager? Maybe not.
Sure.
But it's not really, it's not like Bill Belichick and, Zach Taylor, right? I mean, it's not.
Right.
And so them giving a 2-year extension to Bell when you're not willing to give Bell the tools that he needs in order to operate doesn't really matter who the manager is.
Right.
Everybody wants to see Barry Larkin manage a team at some point one day, which I think would be really cool. But if you're not going to give Barry the tools that he needs in order to win games, does it really matter? Like you decided to slash payroll because you didn't want to lose money. I mean, I understand it.
Sure.
But as a fan, I don't like it.
Right.
Where were you weakest this year? In your bullpen. Your bullpen got you hammered. Who did you cut? 2 of your best players were bullpen players that you just decided not to pay.
Right.
So
right.
Does it matter that you gave Bill a 2-year extension? Not really. It changes nothing. Because you could have gone out and got Joe Girardi. Is that going to give you 10 more wins? I don't think so.
Right. Right. So I'll say this. Yeah, because Miami's experiencing that right now. But I'll say this, or Philadelphia is. What Tony La Russa's doing in Chicago, I know the White Sox are talented. Okay, you could argue that they're real talented.
But so let's start there though. Give me the talent, and then tell me that Bell isn't a good manager because we didn't make the playoffs.
Good point. Good point.
Give me the talent, and then say his decisions cost us X amount of games, and that's why he can't be the manager. Give me the talent, and then say, oh, because we made it to the second round of the playoffs, we're going to give him this 2-year extension because he really brought out, not only did he manage the process, but he managed all the personalities of all that talent and put us in the position to be where we are from a success standpoint. And that's why he needs an extension.
Right.
You just gave him an extension because what the hell else you going to do?
Right. So okay. So who's y'all's general manager?
Nick Kroll.
Okay, so is he hamstrung by the owner? You just answered the question.
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, because the owner comes back and tells, look, Scott, here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I told you last year you should run your household on $100,000. And that's great. But because of COVID, I'm going to need you to run your household at $70,000 this year. Have fun. Right? Okay. So instead of 2 vacations this year, we're only going to go on 1. And instead of flying to that one, we're going to drive. And we'll probably pack some lunches instead of eating out. And that's what he did, right? He had a household of $100,000 that they said make $70,000, and now you got to still go out and put together a team.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do with that? You want me to slash payroll $30+ million, but be better?
Yeah.
No,
that's not how this works.
Right.
That's not how any of this works.
No.
Now with, I guess it's what's Nick? I can't pronounce the last name. Castellanos or whatever.
Castellanos.
Yeah. Is he up? Is he up for? Is this contract up?
No,
Is he going to be up soon?
He signed a 3-year deal, but after each of the first 2 years, he's got player options.
Okay. So
he can opt out.
Okay. Oh, he can opt out. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that could be. I mean, he's your heart and soul. I mean,
if I'm him, I'm opting out.
Sure.
If nothing else, from the standpoint of my ticket is hot right now, and I can go get a guaranteed 2, 3, 4-year deal at $15, $16, $17 million, or I can take this 1-year option at $16 million. No, I'm good. I'm gonna get and that could be potentially with the Reds. I'm not saying that he is 100% leaving.
That's fair. Yeah.
But why would I play for 1 year, $16 million when I can play for 4 years, $16 million and have it all guaranteed? That's just stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, it's see, as much as we love baseball has some fucked up economics because it's not revenue. Obviously, it's not revenue sharing. It's free market. Do what you may. You got to care what you eat, right? Yeah. So if you're not a team like my Yankees, if you're not and have a limited payroll, that doesn't guarantee you anything.
No, but it certainly puts you in a better position.
Yes, it puts you on third base, so to speak.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Instead of like at in the dugout in the warm-up circle.
Yeah.
Like Tampa starts off in the warm-up circle every year, and look where they're at.
Yeah.
And you know, like the Cubs, they start on third base. Look where they're at. We're back to first base. So it's not a guarantee, but it's all how you manage it. And to see a team like the aforementioned Tampa Bay Rays, they're doing a shoestring budget year after year after year after year, and they keep winning, seemingly year after year. I mean, they're running away with the AL East. That's one of the toughest divisions of baseball. They're running away with it. You got Toronto that's balling. You got Boston that's unfortunately balling. Yeah, my Yankees that's hovering in the wild card discussion. There's Tampa 9 games in front. 9 games clear of Boston and damn Toronto.
Yeah,
it's cruising.
But to me, Tampa has evolved their philosophy. All right, we can't compete with you from a monetary standpoint. So what can we do? We can compete from a scouting standpoint. Yes. We can compete from a development standpoint.
Yes.
We can identify those players who fit our system that we can bring up and compete and be here ready to play, right? Yeah. Tampa, Cincinnati, St. Louis, the smaller market teams, like you just can't afford to miss.
And that's another one, St. Louis.
And
World One franchise.
When it's time to move on from a player, it's time to move on from a player. Don't hold on from a sentimental standpoint. We held on Brandon Phillips. I was a giant Brandon Phillips fan. You let Brandon Phillips go when you could get, $2 and some jawbreakers, when before that, 2 seasons before that, you could have got, a first or second round draft pick. Like you just have to manage it from a process of, okay, we're a small market team. So we got to draft well, we got to develop well, and we got to eschew these big money players before we got to pay them. And we got to take advantage of that. We have to. And you have to be dedicated to that. And if it pisses off the fans, I'm sorry, fans, but unfortunately, this is where baseball has put us. And as long as I continue to put a product on the field that is successful, you will stay engaged. You will come around. You'll be mad that we let Todd Frazier go. I get it. I understand it. And I'm sorry we had to let Todd Frazier go. He was great. He was wonderful. He won the home run derby, in his hometown. That's beautiful. But we got to trade Todd Frazier. So he's gone. And then we're going to bring up Hunter Green because he's about to be the future for the next 4 years. So come on.
Right.
And that's what Tampa Bay does.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what, though? It makes it easier for Tampa to do it because they don't have a fan base to go in and bug them about.
Nobody's tied to the players in that way.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just thinking we saw what Team Cockroach is doing with a new stadium, right? They're still well run and everything. I know you roll your eyes. I know, again, going back to rivalries, you know, people talk about the Cubs and the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as big as far as hatred as Cardinals Reds, especially for the Red standpoint. Y'all hate living here. I had absolutely no problem with St. Louis. I still respect them as an organization. They won for 12 World Series.
Yeah, something stupid.
So second most to Yankees. They're still second place to Yankees. I had no problems with them until I moved here, because vicariously through my wife's family and through friends, through this man, my frat brother you see right now, I've learned to hate St. Louis. That's how much they hate St. Louis here.
As you should.
To despise St. Louis. So it's just funny, man. It's just downright hilarious. But I just wonder if Tampa, you give, like Cincinnati has obviously a new stadium, right? Newish.
No, yeah.
And they don't have the cookie cutter Riverfront Stadium or Cincy or whatever. I call it the Riverfront Stadium. I don't give a damn what anyone else called it. They don't have that anymore. So they're all in the good place for a stadium and then revenue goes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking, what if Tampa, what if the people down there started giving a damn about the Rays and rewards them with a new stadium? It could be in St. Petersburg across the bay that will generate more revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine how much of a monster Tampa would be with resources? So I'm just thinking, that's what makes me lament what's happening here in Cincinnati, a baseball town, the first professional baseball franchise in this country to actually, if not the world, to have them just consistently just miss. It's just because, again, you got the new-ish stadium, you have more revenue generated, you have a tradition.
And you have a hungry fan base. Yes. I mean, you really do.
Yes.
As much as we love the Bengals and the Bearcats and all that stuff, Cincinnati is traditionally a baseball town. It really is. Yeah. And when Reds are doing really well, it's fun. It's so fun.
Yes.
And they could eat off of that, man.
Yeah.
Just eat off of that energy, eat off of that revenue. Folks live and breathe Reds during the summertime. Just put a competitive product on the field. If you just did that, instead of, I mean, hell, we were super patient. You said, hey, we're gonna do this rebuild. It's gonna take a few years. Red fans were like, cool. No worries. We can lose 90 games a couple seasons in a row. As long as you telling me we're gonna come back. We're coming back. We're coming back. We're coming back. Okay. Now we had the pandemic shortened season where you barely squeaked into the 7th seed of the playoffs, and at 80 some odd, or 80, what would have been an 86 win percentage type of thing. Like, okay, you barely squeezed in, and then now we got a full season coming up, and what you're gonna tell me is we got to cut payroll and we got to get rid of people, and we're not going to be as talented as we were before. Really? Because I thought we already did that whole rebuild thing, and now's the time to be excited and live in the moment of what we're trying to do. Right? That's what you told me, and that's what you promised me 4 years ago when we were losing 90 games a year for 2-3 years in a row. Now you're telling me I basically get one pandemic shortened season where we barely made it, didn't score a run in the playoffs, and we're done?
Yeah. And then the tease of this summer, the middle of the summer, you guys, again, in prime position for a playoff spot. And then to have the wheels fall off, it's just.
But to me, I still blame that on ownership and management. Like, if you had the players to perform, perhaps you don't fall off.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
if you don't lose a ton of those games at the first part of the season because you had a shit bullpen, maybe losing 8 series in a row means, man, we only got a 5-game lead in the wild card with 10 games to go.
Right.
Because we won 15 games that we didn't need to lose because we had a decent bullpen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, it is what it is. I hate the end. It's a sad note.
That's real. No,
But it's real. You're being real. I appreciate the count. That's why I had you on. But because what's been going on here in Cincinnati sports the past week and a half, well, 3 weeks with Big 12 expansion. That's the greatness. That's the great part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The promising part, the Bengals.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, as long as you fix that goddamn offensive line, you got something there. As long as the coach doesn't sabotage y'all with bone. That first game, we're not going to talk about for the next hour. I don't want to have you on that long. But and then the Reds. But it's a lot of stuff going on here. I just wanted to bring this out. I wanted to have you on the program. I'm glad you brought it. I'm glad you educated us. Thank you, as always. That's why we love having you on. We're going to keep watching. We're going to basketball season have you back on because, this Big 12 talk going to continue doing basketball season and the rest of the college football season too. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's it. Thank you for tuning into this Cincinnati Sports Centric podcast. Hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did. I know I did. Check out this man's good work at the bottom. The yards. Industry Street Sports. That's about all things. That's the merch. Industry Sports. Sleaze Radio, SLZE Radio, every Tuesday on Facebook Live. HeroSports.com. Wraps for all things Industry Sports. Please see your comments, subscribe, and share. We're picking up new subscribers, so please continue to do that.
Sharing is caring, people. Sharing is caring.
Thank you very much. Sharing is definitely caring. Please stay safe. Enjoy the games this weekend. Until next time, we out.